Just gonna wait to make sure I definitely am live. I've made this this error a few times. This just is upcoming on my screen. I always like the video just to kick in first before I do the introductions of what I'm actually doing today. And there we go. Hello, my name's Rob. This is Cat Rabbit Scale Model Studios. This is live. However, there is going to be a little bit of advice on metal miniatures and things like that, and the miniature that I am painting today. A little bit of context. I was reached out to by a guy over on Instagram who basically said, I've got one of the first ever Orc models that was ever done. Good evening, Josh. Hope you're well. And he turned around and said, that would I like to paint one and have it displayed? And I thought that was a really, really cool thing. So here it is. This is the LE1 Space Orc. Now, this is the first Orc that GW ever made. Orc was actually spelt with a C, and also it was known as a Space Orc, which is obviously, let me just try and get that in nice and clear. Is my camera got a little bit of a blur to it, or is it quite? I think I'm going to give it a quick wipe. This is the first one that they ever did. Let me just clean this. Hey, there we go. Yeah, absolutely. And there it is. So originally this was sculpted in 1985. There are pictures of it online. I'll put a link to the pictures because there's actually almost like a Citadel archive which I managed to find, which I was able to find out quite a bit about this miniature. It was sculpted by Bob Naismith and originally painted by Phil Lewis. He's got a great dark green skin to him. His arms are white, obviously apart from the leather boots and stuff like that. Silver detail like his gun, and he's also all in white armour. I've got kind of free run on this. What I want to do, I can kind of do what I want. The guy's happy for me to kind of do it. And then live chats. Yes, let me know, and I can come and regale you with some stories. So what I've done to begin with, the model has been in a sonic cleaner. I don't think there was actually much assembly, or any assembly actually. This was all one piece, this model. I put him in a sonic cleaner, again a bit of a scrub with soapy toothbrush. And then what I did was, in my wind system, because I'm like a sage, I don't know something, I sprayed him with white. And then what I did was I stuck a wash over him. I put a bit of Agrax Earthshade watered down, because sometimes with metal models, the sculpt is old. It's hard to make out details of what stuff is. So I thought what I would do, you can see this kind of like weird seam line down here. Yeah, it's just like, I don't really like working with metal, but I didn't want to pass up this opportunity to paint, you know, the first Orc that GW Citadel ever did. So I thought a wash would kind of bring out the detail and let me know what everything is quite clearly. So that was, you know, what I ended up doing. Which I think it worked quite well actually, because obviously I'm just going to now relayer and paint over it and things like that. So I do think I'm going to start with the skin. Now, in the picture, obviously I'm always quite tempted to just try and replicate people's artwork, but I really like bad moons. I'm a bit of a bad moon boy myself, as you know, with like my orcs and stuff like that. In actual fact, what we should do just really, really quickly is, and I think this kind of does put a lot of things in perspective. Can we just look at the difference between these two? This was the first ever Orc, you know, and the Commandos, some of the later ones, just the actual detail and how far, you know, GW have kind of come. It really is absolutely, you know, astounding. So there we go. But I do think I am going to start with the skin. I think that's probably a nice safe bet. I always like Elysium green, because to me it's kind of bang in the middle. It's a nice bright colour, so you can go either way. So if I need to make the skin darker afterwards, I can. That's my kind of reasoning behind it. So I think I'm gonna layer up the skin first and take it from there. So there we go. So like that's quite, you know, that's a historical, that's a slice of history right there, isn't it? Funny enough, this model's the same age as me, which is bloody impressive. It'll be 38 years this year, which is very cool. So it's kind of like nice that I got the opportunity to do this and paint this model, and yeah, it's exactly the same age as me. I am just going to pop up the Google, because I do want the reference pictures up, because although I have kind of defined some of the detail, we don't really need to see my hands, I just need to see comments. I'm going to be using that. Another thing to note is that this actually used to come on a hexagonal base, which I think is, I've never seen one like that before. So that was like, wow, what is that? But yeah, it came in a hexagonal base. So I'm going to try and be really, really neat with this guy. I think that's part of the head back there. I think he's got like headphones on. So that's what we're going to go with. Getting back to metal miniatures, I'm not a fan of metal miniatures. I'm not a fan of fine cast, really. I think it's quite difficult to work with. I think the problem with people like me, especially, you know, people that are newer in the hobby, if you're older, it's probably something that you just grew up with and it was like something you dealt with and you got it out of the way and it's fine. But coming into the hobby with the majority of plastic kits, you know, 5 years ago, it's definitely I've been spoiled. Like I'm well aware of that, and maybe sometimes my view is a little bit skewed, if you will, because like plastic kits are just so easy to work with. They're easy to paint, they're easy to customize, use a kit bash. You know, there's a lot you can do with them. Whereas resin, it's a little bit more difficult and it's a little bit more unforgiving. So if I don't want to, then I also won't work with. You know, sometimes I look at models and I think, oh, that's really good, and then find out they're resin, and I'm like, I just will not buy that now because it's resin. I don't know whether that's wrong of me to do that. It's very reflective in my Ogre Moor Tribes army. That like units that I probably do need, like butchers and slaughtermasters and, you know, things like that. I just haven't bought because I refuse to work with fine cast or failed cast, as you know, a lot of people call it. I do have an Ice Bro Hunter, which I actually is still on my shelf. Normally I always finish stuff. I won it in a giveaway on Instagram years ago. I won a HQ of my choice, so I said, well, can I have one from Age of Sigmar, because I played that at the time. And the guy was like, yeah, no worries. I got it, and I was like, oh, what's this? It's not plastic. And it was, I couldn't bring myself to finish it. And then I tried to do a little Flesh Eater Quartz army with a Vargelf Courtier, and I ordered it, and I was like, oh, for God's sake. And it was so disappointing. Some pieces I see, like the newer stuff, is better. But I do think that other companies now probably make resin better. Or, I won't say resin, like the fine cast stuff, their moulding processes are better than what GWs are. I do try and steer clear of Forge World, so I can't really speak for that. I'm always tempted to pick up a few bits, but I don't know. If more Forge World stuff was just in the codex, I always think, I don't know why you have to get a separate codex of things. I'd probably more be like tempted to buy this stuff. But if I need like a separate Forge World supplement for it or something, then it's just a bit of a hard pass to me. Unfortunately, it becomes a bit too costly. Now, do you think that's an ear? Does that look like an ear? Yes, it is. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to base coat the skin Elysium green, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to I think I'm going to give him a bit of a wash with something like Biltan, because I want that really dark green in the recesses. I think that will look quite nice. So that's what I'm going to go for. As a little bit of a homage to the original paint job, which it's fantastic. I love seeing the old stuff. I really do. So I'm just hoping it will. I'll be able to pull that off. While I've got everyone, obviously, I have said this a few times. I said it in the Joy Toy video. A lot of companies do send me stuff. I guess it's the perk of being a YouTuber and someone that puts yourself out there and stuff like that. But I do get stuff, and I'm not always going to use it. If you are interested in getting some free swag, what I've decided to do from now on is I'm just going to offer it to Patreon supporters. So once or twice a month, you know, depending how much is in the bank to pay for postage, I'm just going to give stuff away. So there we go. First up is the Grey Knights Ancient, which is a really, really lovely model. Joy Toy really do fantastic banners. That's going to be, I'll probably announce the winner on the 14th, so you've got a couple of weeks. And then next, I might do a Chaos Guy. But also any models I get and things like that, if I can, I'll do multiple ones. Just really, I'd rather see the stuff used than, you know, not used. Recently Josh did come down from Birmingham to see me. We had a lovely weekend together. I managed to give him a load of donations for the club, Free Spies Gaming Group, which was just, you know, great to be able to do, because it clears space here of stuff that necessarily I'm not going to use. I like to pick and choose things that what already works for me. Like the army paint and stuff, I did pick out some colours that I really liked, and I give the rest of the club, so if someone needs their own colours, they have them. That's what I like. So I'd rather give stuff away. To be fair, the Joy Toy stuff, I've got an absolute stack of them. It's unreal. They're lovely models. If I could have them out, I would. A lot of these factions I don't really know about, which is, you know, I can't have all this stuff out. My little studio just isn't big enough. Although I might, here's a little bit of a insider for you. I might build myself a bit of a more permanent brick studio away from the house, a little bit bigger, so I can have, you know, like a bit of a diorama section set up. I can have all my stuff on the walls mounted, have like a really big kind of nice nerd cave, which I think would be a lot of fun. So I think maybe in the new year, the box room, I think my youngest daughter, she wanted to share with her sister for a bit. I think they're over that now, wants to come back into the small room, so I think I'll move her back so they can have their own rooms again. And I think I'll build myself a bit of a man cave, which would be great fun, looking over the garden. I am lucky enough to live right next to the riverbank, so you kind of step out and you've got lovely ducks, herons, swans. You know, it's beautiful, and I am lucky enough to have that. So I think I might do that, which I think would be really, really cool. And then I could have like guests. People could come down and be like, "Oh, look who's walked in." It'd be like Noel Edmonds' house party. People would just rock up, and be like, "Oh, who's at the door? Ding dong," you know. So, which I think would be quite cool. So that's what I will probably look to do in the new year. Now this is great. I'm sticking over Beltian. I don't really know many of the crafts words, or if I'm saying that right. And it's giving me that really nice dark shaded skin, which is what I want. A cool thing about this is once I've done with this, I'm going to give the guy the nod. It's going off to America, and it's going to go in a display. I think it's going to a place in New York. I don't know the name of the place, and it's going to be on display there. I think he's got like a proper photographer come in to take pictures and stuff, and I just thought that was pretty cool. So I wanted to do a good job on this guy. As good as you're going to get out of a metal miniature, let's just say that, because it is a bit of a, I don't know, it's a bit wonky in places to sculpt. I like it. I think it's got a lot of character. I always wondered what people meant when they say, like, you know, these models have no character. I suppose people are being silly because they don't like change. But I can see what you mean about stuff like this, because this model has a lot of character, and you look at it and you go, it's awful, like it's so jank. I love it. So there we go. Let us know if you are in the chat what you're working on, if you are working on anything, if you're painting along, listening to the smooth, soothing tones of Cal Rabbit Scale Model Studios. That's me. What your oldest miniature is. I'd love to know. I'd love to know if you've got like a right rare banger in your collection. And metal models. What do you think of them? Like I said, I don't know. Metal? I don't know. I've got some Corvus Belly stuff, Infinity. Funny enough, that Josh sent to me, and they look really, really nice, but they're metal, and I guess I worry about having not enough experience to do justice on the model. So currently working on Vespa from Moonstone. Is that one of the new ones, Josh? I did see, I found the Moonstone page and I did give it a little bit of a follow, and it seems like they're announcing stuff all the time now. It's like, wow, you know, they're absolutely flying. So what I'm going to do, I am going to just relayer some Elysium green over this guy, just to kind of bring him back a little bit, but leave those dark recesses into where we are. I am going to talk a little bit about computer games in a minute, because I've recently bought a few, and I'm very impressed with both of them actually. I picked up Armored Core 6. I haven't played Armored Core since Armored Core on the PlayStation. And it's great. I've been having a fantastic time. Me and my buddy got it, and we're like, I was stuck on a boss for ages, and he's just done it in one go, and I was like, oh damn. So I was like, well, what build did you use? And we were just chatting. It's really cool because you're like, well, what are you rocking here? And it's like, oh, I've got like twin laser cannons and all the little loadouts and things you can do. And yeah, do you know what? It's a really fun game. Typical From Software, but I really, really am enjoying it. And the second game that I've been playing, it was actually on PlayStation, their like Game Pass equivalent. I don't know what it's called. Sea of Stars. I'm a massive, I've always said this, I speak about this a fair old bit, my love for the PS1 era JRPG, I absolutely adore. If I didn't do models, I'd probably just do like gaming channels about facts. I know so much rubbish about PS1 developed games and things like that. And it is just a beautiful homage to games like Chrono Trigger, at any turn-based RPG that you can think of. Alondra, Breath of Fire 3, one of my absolute favourites. It's got it in buckets, and it is fantastic. And I get into bed at night and I think, oh, I'm just going to do a few little fights, a few little things on this game. I've just really been enjoying it. Super, super good. I see Starfield is out. Is anyone in on the Starfield in the chat? If you got it, if you played it, is it good? Obviously, being a PlayStation owner, I'm absolutely gutted that it's not coming to PlayStation. Good on Xbox for buying exclusive and not making their own. And that's a dig. And yeah, is it good? Is it good? I saw some people kind of panning it, and you kind of expect that with Bethesda stuff. You get it and you think there's always going to be one that's going to whinge about it, but it looks good. It looks sort of it, as it's a little bit controversial, obviously not coming to PlayStation, or not that anything's been whatever. I doubt it will, but I get that. But some of the reviews, Xbox is better than PS5. That's just something children say when they claim to fuck your mum. So that's very childish. Xbox is for boys, PlayStation's for lads. I've always said that. Absolute lad. Where's that Moot Green? So I'm going to give him a think I'm going to move down to Ogren Camo. Do you know what? It's always each to your own. Like I've always had a PlayStation. Always. At one point, I had a 360. I don't have anything against Xbox. I do think that they fall out of commitment to things that they say they're going to do, which is a little bit of a shame, because I think if Xbox really and Microsoft really put their mind to it, they would absolutely smash the competition, you know. But then competition's good because it builds a better product in the end. So, you know, I don't necessarily think it's all a bad thing, but I do think that sometimes they waste a lot of potential. I don't think there's people really that can sit there and go hand on heart, yeah, no, they make the most of what they buy. I don't always think that's the case. So, you know, I think Microsoft are the ones that they'll just buy out competition rather than deal with it, which is, if you've got the money to do it, fuck it, why not? But also at the same time, it's not going to build you a better product. So, which is just my 2 cents on it, personally. But I do like, you know, I think the Xbox game's got good architecture. It's just I've always had a PlayStation, and it's just, you know, I probably always will. I grew up with a Sega Mega Drive, which was my first love, and no, right. So I'm just going to get this out there. The joysticks on an Xbox are in the wrong position. I don't care what anyone says. That is one of the most stupid things ever. Why would you move? Why would you not have it symmetrical? It just doesn't make sense. It's completely baffling. I'm not buying it. I'll never buy it. I will say this, hands down, that the PlayStation has the better controller. All day long. Fight me. The DualSense is one of the nicest controllers I think I've ever used. It really is a very comfortable thing. So I'm just kind of coming in with some Ogren Camo now, just trying to brighten that skin up. I want to keep that green, and I want to keep that kind of nice highlights is what we're going for. So I'm just trying to build up the colour. I'm not using any more. I'm just literally, you know, Ogren Camo. I'm going to give him a bit of a paler underside. Hey! But I think you're not really going to see it. So I'm not too worried. So let's just take it from there. I will have to give a list. I am in a group on Instagram. I'm very bad with this type of stuff. Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons are better than anything else. I don't mind the Joy-Cons, but once again, the thumbsticks are in the wrong place on the left side. They should be down, not up. But I do love a handheld console. I always have. Like I use my PSP still to this day. I was gutted the PS Vita, didn't get all the support. I love my Nintendo DS and my 3DS. I got the 3DS XL, the orange one, so good. But I do think, I don't know, I just think PlayStation controllers are just pretty comfortable, and it's in the right place. It's all about that analog stick. So I don't know whether we can see that there. So this is what we've got skin wise. See, he's kind of got that cool look to him. This is what we're going for. Those nice creamy highlights building up them layers is what we want over and over again. Really accentuating them ridges is what I am going to do. Things like the cheekbones here. Let me just move my hands so people can actually see what I'm doing. I do apologise if I move out of view. The other thing is, if you're not in the UK right now, the UK is roasting. Oh my God, it's heaven. Like, it was like 30 degrees today. And it was just a thing of absolute sheer beauty. Just rocking out in a pair of shorts and just being like, oh my God, I'm warm. I'm finally warm. Let's just... What I can do, I suppose, if I have to, I can come back in with something like maybe warpstone glow on the recesses if I need to. If I need to add any more like depth to the shaded parts, I think I'll be alright. It's coming together quite nicely actually, so I think I'm not going to overwork the skin too much. I think I'm going to leave it there on the skin. I'm happy with that. I think that's quite good. So now I think what I'm going to do, let's look at the image itself. Now he's got these lovely red shoulder pads, but I really want to do some orange. So I've got this. Now this is speed paint. This is Nuclear Sunrise. I think this is a really bright orange. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any more. Cherry, ancient honey, purple, purple. Okay, this is a stealthy one. I think we're going to try this. I think this is quite a nice colour. So I think what I'll do is, let me just, I've literally just dropped something. That's always worrying when you hear bits drop and you go, oh God, what was that? So let's see how this turns out. Let's see where we are with this. And it is, sorry, just get back to it, it's warm in the UK. It's beautiful. But my God, my studio is, I've got a fan directly on. I hope you can anyone tell me if you can hear like a wind blowing noise? If it is, I can turn the fan down. But my God, it is chummy in here, I'm not gonna lie. Now, that's quite a nice colour. So let's, I must say I did give myself a bit of a pat on the back when I was like, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a shade over him. Why are you going to do that? Oh, so I can see all the bits a little bit better. I thought, what a fantastic idea. I was really, really pleased with myself for doing that. And I think if I do come across any metal miniatures in the future, I think this is something that I will probably adapt to doing. Once again, I try not to get too involved in metal stuff, but I definitely think that's got a good, let's give him 2, because he's got 2 shoulder pads here. Let's give him like a white and orange suit. I think that could work. Almost like a Cult of the Rusted Claw, Gene Stealer cults. Can't go wrong with a bit of an orange. I honestly don't know how some people get their metal miniatures looking so clean. I spent ages trying to clean this guy up, and I can literally see like imperfections all over it. It's just like, to me, that it just looks like metal where like pitting has taken place, and it's like, how would you get that really, really smooth? Like, I generally don't know. There's so many great artists out there that do the vintage stuff. I was cracking up on that many back in the day. Do you know what I did? I saw that unicorn one. I gotta admit, I do really, really like. I don't know a lot about the old world. Obviously, it was gone by the time I got here. But I think that the Bretonian stuff that they've been showing is great. I think it is. It's really cool. I'm very much here for the old world, and I do hope it's made quite available, much like Horus Heresy was. I think that would be a really, really cool, thing for them to do. So already, like, I'm pretty chuffed. I think orange works. Let's go orange. And then we're going to do his boots and things. Now, he's got studs on his boots. Now, I don't know, it's like he's got his foot in rolls. And if you're not from the south, a cob or something, I don't know what it's called. Definitely that. Okay, so this is where the problems arise, is because I can't quite make out a lot of the detail on this. So Red Eyes, he's got the tube in the mouth. Now, I suppose we could tackle his backpack. He's got a backpack here. But I can't quite work out what everything's supposed to be. Now, these look like some sort of like scrolls strapped to the side. I don't know. Maybe I should do his lower arm guards orange as well. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to layer up with white some of the armour, and we'll see how that looks, obviously in keeping with the original armour. I'd like it to be partly recognisable, partly done with new techniques. So let's see how it all layers up. Don't forget, use a wet palette, kids. Use a wet palette. So let's have a look. Also, if you're watching from the future, I will confirm that there's a good possibility I will be attending the South East London Wargaming show. Selwick. I am just going to confirm it. I'm trying to talk some people into coming with me. I guess I'm not always a big, I wouldn't say people-y person, but getting to these things sometimes is quite difficult for me. So I think what I am going to do is try and go along with people. It's a good excuse, otherwise I'll just kind of stay in and, I don't know, wash my hair or something like that. It's the type of person I am. What would you rather be doing? Well, when I'm not being a raging alcoholic, probably just washing my hair. So I think I might attend Selwig, which I think would be good fun actually. So if you are attending, and drop us a message, especially on Instagram. I always see the Instagram messages. I'm always, it's always up. Do it and let me know if you're going to be there, and yeah, let's meet up, say hi, let's have a walk around together, let's buy some stuff together. Let's braid each other's hair. Be good. I'm quite looking forward to it. I did go to Warhammer Fest a few years ago. It was good. It was 2019, I think I went, which was great, which was the year I got into the Hogwarts staff, I think. Yes, it was. Which was great, at the Rico Centre in Coventry. Which was nice. So I should do these things more. I know I should. I know I'd enjoy it once I'm there. So it's just getting me out the door is half the battle. Yes, Josh, washing my golden locks. I actually have a hair mask which I will be applying this weekend with my name on. And I'm going to be doing a bit of painting. I've got another project. It's just look, there's a bit of it, which should be good. I think I will. That video will be coming out on maybe Saturday. I might be a day late with the video this week, as it is back to school. Back to school, finally. Absolutely finally. These kids, man, I swear to God. It's been horrendous. But no, it's been a very nice half term actually, so but I do think it's time for them to go back and learn some stuff before TikTok and things like that consumes them to the point of no return. I've just done a walk around actually with my daughter just before going live. We walked up to her secondary school so she knows the way, as her first day is tomorrow. And yeah, I think they're as ready as they'll ever be. Little one's just a whirlwind. She'll be fine. I'm not worried about her at all in the slightest. But still, they grow up too quickly, these kids. However, when are they moving out, or when are they going to start paying rent, is what I really, really want to know. So there we go. I like the white. I think I'm going to keep it. That's brightened him up a little bit. I think that'll be quite cool. I might actually put a bit of a bluish wash over him once again. I've got the colour just here. I think it's this one. Hang on. Let me just find it. It's another... there it is. Another speed paint. Ashen Stone. This is a really, really good... There's two. There's Ashen Stone and there's Battleship Grey. Doesn't look like there's much between them. Let me hold it up a little bit. You can see this is a little bit darker, but lighter at the same time, but it's a lighter, darker tone, if you will. Really, really good. If you like things like Apothecary White, pick these up. You can make some absolute fantastic washes with these, or just stick them on and, magnifique. So I think what I will do is I'm just going to go back and relayer some more of these up. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up a little bit of Ashen and Battleship, because it is going to really bring these colours together. I really want to try and replicate that gaudy brightness of the 80s. I would say 90s, but this is an 80s model. Because they're really... it's going to sound horrible. And I guess looking at today's painting standards, the coordination is just all over the place. Like, there isn't any. They just painted stuff, colours, and, went, yeah, that'll do. And, like, I love it. I think it's great. But also at the same time, when you look at it compared to some of today's models, you're a bit like, wow. How did we do that? Now, do I do those leg sections? These bits here, you see that just here, these bits. I think I might do them. Yeah, do you know what? Screw it. Let's go for it. Why not? And I think to finish him off, I am going to give him a really, really, really lovely Goblin green base. I did have one. Go, and I'm going to go... I've always wanted to do this. Here's one I've made earlier. So we've got a lovely Goblin green base for him already. So he's going to go on one of those. I think he's going to look really gaudy and great. And yeah, I'm starting to visualise it now. I was worried that I couldn't see, the outcome of what I wanted. Normally when I paint, I have a bit of a vision in mind. But with these old models, because they're just all over the shop, with a lot of their detail as well, it's harder to... You've got to almost like let the model speak to you, if you will. It's not as easy as to go, right, these are red, these are green, these are blue. You have to kind of be like, well, because there's so many additional extra bits to them and colours, you've kind of got to let the model speak to you and go, right, well, you need a bit more red here, you need something brighter here, you need to... and that's part of the beauty of this model, but also it makes it incredibly difficult to paint. Hats off to people like, I know I plug him a fair old bit, Whiskey and Wizards over on Instagram. He does some stellar stuff, but how on earth he does it, I have no idea. It's just, it's an art form, these older models, they really are. But I'm happy with that. I think that's great. I think there's a little bit of an undersuit sewing there. I'm not going to do that white. I think I might do that a darker colour. But what I am going to do is I'm going to See, once these little undersuit bits are done, and the shoes are done, which obviously Wildwood, God bless this colour. Like literally, that's all the suit done. It's just this top bit and the gun and the smaller touch-ups, which really will take me, I don't know, a couple of hours or something. If I put on a movie, which I do like doing. But I definitely think we are on the right track here. Yours, did they go back tomorrow, Josh? Litland was going to go back, but she's now off tomorrow because they have found that concrete thing in her skull. So she's not going back. So I've got little one off for the foreseeable future. It's almost like half term will never fucking end. I need that break, so there we go. What's this I hear about Birmingham Council on the brink of bankruptcy? Wow, how'd you let it get to that? That is bonkers. But yeah, that was the news of the day. Don't tell me you've spent all £12.50 of your budget. So, yeah, I just like what's going on in Birmingham. So let's go with ash and grey, and I'll show you what I mean by. I need this. Oh, give me some speed paint medium. Yeah, I heard about that. Lucky you went with Birmingham. So, are you under a different council? Are you? I thought you'd come under Birmingham, obviously Lichfield being just underneath it. Let's bear everyone the same. And then they had the Commonwealth Games last year, spunk money as well. Yeah, that probably sounds about right, if I'm honest with you. But like, what an absolute shit show for a position for a council to get themselves into. Like, that is bonkers. Like, who's in charge of the budget there? Once again, Noel Edmonds. It's Staffordshire. Okay, cool. But I saw that and I was like, wow, that is just, how'd you let it get that bad? So you just be able to see this colour here, and I've got some speed paint medium in there, and we've just got this really nice. I think what I am going to do as well, I'm going to put a drop of Battleship Grey in as well. You can see the blue there. That's what we want. We want to give it a little tint of blue. Because the actual model on screen looks like it's almost like it's panel lined with pure black. While great at the time, once again I did want to bring this into a more modern kind of theme. Like, I want him to look a little bit grubby, a little bit dirty, but I want you to be able to tell what each armour piece is. That's why once again, the purpose of highlighting everything with a wash after priming, because it just made life a little bit easier, so I can work out and you can see what every part is. Which was the goal here. I do want to show this model off, so yeah, there we go. Okay. No, oh yeah, this is looking tasty. Hello there, Chris. How are you? How are you? Are you having a lovely Tuesday evening? If you're in the UK, are you keeping cool? Hey. What are you working on tonight? And have you come to marvel at the LE1 Space Orc, the first Orc GW ever produced? Also, I didn't know whether I said earlier, the LE actually stands for limited edition. There is a few of them, and I will go through them actually really quickly for people, because I didn't know how many LEs there were, but I do now, and it's pretty interesting. Well, I think it's quite interesting, but you know, I'm at work here in Canada. It's not here. Do you know what? It's been so warm here. How are things in Canada? I know obviously you've had you had bad fires this year. Were you anywhere near those, or is that did you kind of like, are you a little bit further away than that? I've got friends out in Armstrong and you know, right on the west side, and yeah, they said it was quite bad. So just quickly, let's just, I need to click on this numbered LEs. So the late 80s and early 90s, Citadel was very haphazard about the numbering and advertisement of the limited edition ranges. The same figure may be shown on 2 different flyers with 2 different numbers, and different figures with the same numbers. If a packaged example exists with a number on, it gave precedent over the flyer. But the thing that's quite interesting, the LE1 Space Hawk is older than the LE2, and it was listed as an Imperial Space Marine. And if you actually click on the Imperial Space Marine, it comes up with a little bit about it. And it was like later released in the 1991 catalogue as Space Marine with Bolter 5. And it's that really janky, beaky Marine with the kind of gun pointing down in like a running fashion with like the big studded pauldron. That's the one. You always see him painted as a Crimson Fist. In this, he's once again fantastic white armour. The other LEs, there were 25 of them. You've got Gumshoes, Black Dwarf, Psycho Hobbits, Space Santa, Wizard with a submachine gun, Mook Death's Crazed Caledonians, Space Skeleton, Powered Armoured Marines. There isn't much about these at all. I can barely make out what that's supposed to be. Giant Orc Chief and Bodyguard, Frud with Axe, Inconvenience Dwarf, Tin Man and Oxy Ocetelin, Chaos Amazon and the Warlocks. Then you've got Sanity Claws, Chaos Toilet, Blood Bowl, Frud. Blood Bowl, quite interesting, LE18. Was actually just 4 characters. It was an orc, a human, an elf, and a dwarf. And those were your first Blood Bowl. No, it wasn't a thing. The Blood Bowl was a team of 4 completely different people. Frud, Complete Adventurer, the Up the Wall crew, Orc Bazooka and crew, Chainsaw Wizard, Sleazy Rider, and then Dwarf with Inferiority Complex and Snotling Sawmaster. All 25 of the limited edition ones, ranging from 1985, which was the Space Hawk, to the early 90s. There are a few more Road Trader ones and things like that, like Christmas Rings and Giant Robots. There's a Fantasy Zote. I bet nobody knew that, did they? Wow. God, it's awful. I love it. It looks like something from Jason and the Argonauts. He was first shown in White Dwarf issue 89. So there we have it. Wizard of Empires, classic 80s GW. Yeah, do you know what? I wish they did more like odd stuff like that. Like, go nuts, go mental. Let your hair down. Let's just build up some of this quickly. I want to get this a bit greyer in this undersuit here. Just so you can see that it is the undersuit. Oh yeah, okay, alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's looking quite well. I think by the time I put the black in, or like the dark brown on the boots, and just brighten up this white, which I am actually going to do now. I must say I've got a wet palette and my paint is drying really quickly. Let's just add a few paler highlights to it. I'd be interested to know if anyone did watch this and had this miniature, or has this miniature. Did you paint it? If you've painted one of these before, please, 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 if you are on Instagram, send me some pictures of it, because I would really, really love to see. I think stuff like this is really important, actually. Preserving these older models and bringing them to a newer generation once again, it just shows you how far GW has come as a model company. Not only that, Citadel Miniatures, which is really a bit more what I'm interested in as opposed to GW. Just how, once again, how far they've come with their miniature design and the work that they do, and just how just got to concentrate there. I don't want to get his little ears. Miniature manufacturing in general has just kind of developed. I think that's a really, really interesting, kind of look at it. Old miniatures. I'm absolutely infatuated with older miniatures, and I don't know why sometimes. I think it's because old ones are new to me, because I when I see like some of these Warhammer Fantasy Battle miniatures, I'm like, what is that? And I tend to show my buddy, and he's like, oh right, yeah, that's one of those, and he'll tell me about it and what it did, and like the older models and things like 40k and stuff like that, and I just think, oh man, that's awesome. So I think it's important, because you then realise, once again, with the, just how far GW's come as a miniature company, Citadel, and what they're capable of now, and the quality we have to what it was. I think it's just really, really impressive. Definitely would love to go into the history of Citadel a bit more, and find out about it and maybe make a video on it. I think stuff like that is really interesting. Who knows? But I would like to do one I've always wanted to do, the history of the Space Marine. I'd love that. The Space Marines. Even if you don't like Space Marines, I'm sorry, they're iconic, and I won't be told otherwise. And you're kidding yourself if you don't think how important the Space Marine is, not only to the miniature wargaming community, but also like models in general, like the fantasy genre, especially like the tabletop board game genre. They are an absolutely integral part to it, and you wouldn't have half the stuff you have today if the Space Marine hadn't been so popular. That is hands down an honest fact there. And plus there's no such thing as a Space Marine. I've said this on many occasions. It always annoys me when people get a bit uppity about Space Marine releases. Space Marines, oh, not more Space Marines. But yeah, but there's no such thing as a Space Marine. Space Marine is what it is. It's not who it is, because it has to be assigned to a faction. So when you get a new Primaris Lieutenant, it's not just a Primaris Lieutenant, that's a new Dark Angels Lieutenant, new Blood Angels Lieutenant, new Ultramarines Lieutenant. It covers such a broad range of endless possibilities for all the homebrew chapters out there. It becomes a model for absolutely that one person, and that's really special. So when people are like, I just think, oh, shut up. Just be happy for people. Come on now. No one likes Xenos players anyway. So, it's a dig. But that's what I've always, is what I've always kind of fell into as well. I do think there's a lot of truth behind what I've just said, and it's a bitter pill to swallow for a lot of people. And unfortunately, that's life. So I think I'm going to come in with a bit of Wildwood. I am going to thin this down, because I would rather be able to add a couple of coats rather than one big one if I have to. I got to tell you, the speed paint medium that comes in with speed paints is just my go-to thing now. Like, that is a handy thing. I know a lot of people didn't like it because I had a fantastic time with speed paint and I didn't have any problems, and I still continue to not have any problems. But I think speed paints are, especially with 2.0 stuff, really, really good. I would highly recommend them to people. Especially if you just wanted to get stuff done. I think they're a great range of paints. Like, look at this. Especially with that Lamia medium in. Ooh, yeah. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to let that dry, because they always do dry just that little touch darker. But that's definitely where I want it to be. It's all coming together now. The only other metal miniature that I have done is an old Necromunda Scavy leader. So he's actually just on my shelf. He is, or was. No, you're not him. You're not him. No, he's on the shelf. He is on the shelf with my other Necromunda stuff. It's the little Scavy leader guy. I wish Scavies would come back. I know they just did a thing for mutants, but I do wish Scavies were an actual game. I'd be so over that. Like, I don't think personally GW has done a lot with Ash Wastes. It seemed like at first everyone would be getting like a bit of a, you know, a vehicle and some new units, and it just seems to have stopped. And that's a bit of a shame. Like, well, where's that gone? I think the problem with Ash Waste, once again, price point. Price point absolutely demolished it. I would rather have got less in the box and had it more affordable than have all that stuff and just not be able to afford it. Like, I think they mess up with their pricing so much, so often. And like with me, you know, I don't earn a lot, especially hobby-wise. You know, I'm trying to be self-sufficient, trying to be smart about it, and like there's no way I could do like a, I mean, what was it? Was it 250 to 180? It was quite high. Like you've got no chance. There is no way in hell I'm going to be able to afford that. Which is a shame, because I would have loved Ash Wastes, especially with the Hellamite Riders and stuff like that. I did get actually my good pal Darcy Bono gave me some the Raiders, Tuscan Raider guys. Oh poo, I can't remember their name. They're literally on the shelf there. You know, the ones that came in the box. You know, you don't need me to tell you. But yeah, you know, what a great looking faction. You know, you basically got your Star Wars Jawa people, and like that, they haven't really done anything else with it. And it's like, what are you doing? Come on. So that's with the boots done. He's looking pretty inconsistent, which is good, which is, I know it sounds weird, that's kind of what I wanted. That's pretty much all that side of things done. We've got that lovely blue tint to the armour. I will go over that with some more whites, but I think I am going to have to let everything dry. It was 180. Yeah, £180 is a lot for a box game, I think, personally. Like, way too much. Like, a kid. Josh, when he came, brought up a White Dwarf. Josh, what was the number of the White Dwarf you had with you? It was the same year he was born, 1991. Warhammer Fantasy Battle was 30 quid. Like, what? £30, and you got a ton of stuff in there, like ridiculous amounts. And it's just like, wow, okay. Now I know things go up, and I know, you know, things don't often stay the same, stuff like that. But November 1992, there we go. Bonkers. Alright, so I'm going to highlight all the white now, I think, with White Scar next. Because I want to get this done, the white side of things, because then I can move on to the funner stuff. Not that, you know, I don't mind a bit of highlighting there and there. I do it when I have to. But because I want to get those really weird blends that they had in the 90s, I think starting the effect now is definitely going to be better and a bit more. It's going to help me down the line. So I've just mixed a bit of white scar in with Corax white and just using a small feathering motion with the brush. I'm going to highlight over there as well. And we're just going to... If I stop talking for a minute, it's because I've poked my tongue out and I'm now trying to concentrate. Just a bit simple like that, really. Let's move around just to here. And there's a little bit just in the corner where I need to get. I'm just going to try and really just not overwork it, but really work those colours in. So you've got a hint of blue. The nice thing about white is there's hardly, or there's a lot of pigment in it, so it's a thinner paint. So it's a bit easier to work with, a bit more forgiving. I can get some really nice bright highlights with it, and I can build them up in quite a few different passes, which is what I want to do. Followed by like a sharp edge highlight, which I'll do now, of white scar, just like this. And because I've built it up, we can now see that edge highlight right here, look. So it is nice and bright. That's what we want. That's exactly what I want. I might try and take some fancy pictures with this and put it in front of those old faded blue white dwarf backgrounds. That'd be cool. I think that'd be quite funny, actually. A bit different. Does anyone here actually buy white dwarf, can I ask? I've tried a few times, especially when I got into the hobby. I bought a few of them because it was kind of like, oh, do I just buy the magazine then? And after that I was like, this is a bit crap. I actually think the older white dwarfs are a lot better. They had more stuff in, like, you know, how to make stuff. Josh's one that he brought up to show me had a little kit where you could cut out like cardboard scenery, which I thought was really cool. I have done a copy of it. I need to do like a thing where people can access it. I'm not really sure how to do all that type of stuff, like a Dropbox or something. So people can download it, but I did. I went to work and I copied it. I've got a really big industrial scanner at work, so I work in the aircraft trade, and I've got it. But I need to like work out how to get that scanner thing now. You know, so people can just download it as they want, which I think would be quite cool. Give people that choice to. You know, I think with stuff like this, it's always the hope that someone goes, oh my God, I used to have this and here it is for free. And it's just like, I remember it. And just making it available for people, which is kind of what I'm all about. So there we go. Okay, we've made good progress. We've made hella good progress. I'm quite happy with that. Oh God, he's so janky. I love him. Need to name him. Need to name him something. Can't just keep calling him LE1 all the time. God. But look how awful he looks. Brilliant. I love it. On a goblin green base, this guy is gonna be. Do White Dwarf even do freebies? Occasionally, it's like a free card or something, like a downloadable mobile game, and you think, what am I going to do with that? It's just a bit. I think stick a free miniature on it, an exclusive miniature, watch it sell like hotcakes. But the problem is these days you get your scalpers, and that is unfortunately the hard truth there. Now, what to do about his upper sleeves? You only see them ever so briefly. I think I'm going to leave his joints this kind of dirty colour, and I might layer those in. Let's just click on him again. What colour do they do the joints? So they do treat it like white joints, but in white armour. But once again, I don't know how I feel about that. What are those bits at the back of him? Apparently he's got metal right bits. Jesus Christ. Okay. Where to go from here? Yes, that was what I meant. Something you get like a little card in there or something. I remember when Underworlds Chaos, they did one for a Chaos Gargan, so you could fight it in Warhammer Underworlds. Back when everyone thought it was called Shadespire, and it was like, oh yeah, I love Shadespire. Shadespire's really cool. And then it was like, actually, it's not called Shadespire, it's called Underworlds. Shadespire is just the box. And then they released them like every 6 months, and I don't know. Do people play Underworlds? I'm not sure. To me, it's a game that is maybe needs to have a little bit of a break. However, I will say that the Underworld's miniatures, some of the best ones. They're so unique, got a lot of character. I like them. So these bits here apparently are silver. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's part of his gun. Okay, so that's silver. That's silver. Then he's got a belt, but you don't see the majority of it. That's fine. Ah, see, that's his handle from his gun. Then it's literally just a backpack, his teeth, and his actual weapon itself. Which is, I don't know whether you can make that out. It's like a cool shotgun with an axe head on it. Look at that. It's jank as hell. Absolutely love it. Okay, cool. I think what I will do is I'm going to leave him there because I want to let stuff dry. In actual fact, no. What I will do is ever so quickly, I'm going to brighten up the orange. I want to make that orange really bright. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some Fire Dragon Bright. I'm going to really water it down. And I'm just going to come in between. And then I'm going to leave it to dry. And I'm just going to work. Oh yeah, look at that. I don't know whether you can see that so well, but that's going to brighten stuff up. I like that. I'm just going to focus it in between the little spike things. Like that's pitting on that metal there, and I don't know what to do about it. Like, is that a thing? I guess if they're not stored properly, will it do that? I mean, to be fair, I'm not even sure what type of metal this is. I suppose this would be pewter, wouldn't it? Down the line, because of the age of it, and I know they started off with pewter. So there's a good chance that this isn't actual metal at all, and it's like it's a pewter miniature. So we'll just work the best we can. Okay, that's better. I like that. That colour's quite well, actually. I thought I'd have a bit of a fight here. And I might add a little bit of white to the top of it. But I'll do that once everything's dry, because I'll have to get a blend on that. Some more bands. I got Shadespire, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. I played a couple of games, didn't really get it, and I was like, okay. And then what's the one they did where introduced magic? I want to say Nightshade or something. I don't know what it was called. And I was like, okay, well, they're cool miniatures. I'm going to get that. And then I bought it, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. Oh, God, look at that. Rod, be careful. You've just got orange on him. See, look at that. Skills gone. The one with the night performance in, I don't remember it. And that was it. I stopped. That's when I stopped and I was like, no, this is getting too much, you know. And then they did, I think Beast Grave was after that. Then they went to like the bottom of the sea or some rubbish like that. I don't know. It's not for me. It's too much. GW doing that GW thing where they literally just pile it on you and it becomes too much. Let people enjoy it. You don't have to. You can just support it. You know, I'm going to expand on it. You don't have to have a new edition. Chill out, relax, and there. So look, there. That's where I think I'm going to leave it. I'll probably finish him on Thursday with Josh on the live. We are back on Thursday, 7:30. To be fair, that once again, there's not a lot left to do on this guy. Once I've done his backpack and blocked in the silver details and washed those, so I'll pop up some pictures. Don't know if you can see him. God, he's awful. And what I will try and do as well, I will pop up some pictures of the actual LE1 Space Hawk, so you can see what I was kind of go for with a little bit of a twist. But I do think that is where I will leave it. Obviously, I'm going to give him little headphones and things like that. I'll do all those details a little bit later. I actually didn't think I'd get that much done. I think I was expecting to procrastinate quite a lot, but I'm pretty happy, and I think I've got some solid choices there, which I'm quite chuffed with. So yeah, the LE1 Space Hawk, sculpted in 1985 by Bob Naismith and originally painted by Phil Lewis. It was the first Orc model. It was Orc with a C that GW produced, and I've got the privilege of painting it. Me and some other painters. I'll try and leave links to other painters in the video description. I'll probably do that tomorrow though. While I'm at work, I'll leave Instagram handles to people. I don't know what everyone else is doing. I tend not to look at what other people are doing. I really pay attention to what I'm doing. They might have work in progress pictures on there, but I will put everyone that's involved in this little thing. The guy managed to get, I think, 5 or 6 of these, and I was lucky enough to be one of them to paint it up, which was really, really cool. So there we go, the LE1 Space Hawk. I guess 50% done, let's say that. I think it's a little bit over that, because a lot of the extra colours are all one thing. Once the silver's blocked in, there's not going to be many colours left to do, and that's it. So there we go. Yeah, it was just a bit of a chill kind of hang out and paint. It was just a bit easier to do it this way than, you know, to do like a video on it and things like that. It might be quite difficult to believe it, like with my current setup and stuff like that. Doing lives is a lot easier than doing videos, because I have to film stuff, I have to convert stuff, I have to piece it together, I have to put the audio files on, I have to do voiceovers, I have to write a little script. You know, I have to kind of do all this stuff, and it takes me 2 or 3 evenings, which is just, you know, too much. And I think I've recently found out that doing a video a week is very achievable for me, and doing it that way. So that's how things are going to be for the foreseeable future. It seems to be going well. I'm quite happy. We did hit 4,000 subscribers. Thanks to everyone that does, you know, watch my videos and stuff like that, and just likes and shares and tells a pal about me and says, hey, watch this guy, you know, he's all right. It is very much appreciated. But I am going to be leaving it there today. I will put up some pictures in about half an hour or so of this guy, where we are with him. And if you want to see me finish him off, pop back on Thursday and hang out with me and Josh, where you get to do it all again and get to see Josh's lovely face. So there we go. That's it from me in this one. Like, subscribes, the bell notification, other things that other people say that I have no idea what half of it is. It's very much appreciated. I will see you all later. God bless and take care.